Hello and good morning. Holly Shields here reporting to you live from 𝐊𝐴 studio in Sydney, and you're watching the Early Trades, a show where we share with you a glimpse of the Australian share market opening trade scene along with the global and domestic drivers triggering the market momentum. In the first segment of the show today, we'll be looking at how the early morning trades panned out, taking cues from Wall Street action overnight. And then in the last segment, we'll be looking at prominent newsmakers grabbing the headlines during the early trade hours, as well as movement seen in the cryptocurrency, crude oil, gold and metals indices. Well, the Australian share market opened on a positive note this morning after US stocks moved higher overnight. The global equities surged after jobless claims data revealed that the US labor market climbed ahead despite a recent rise in COVID-19 cases. The Australian shares opened in the green today, tracking weak cues from Wall Street after US and Chinese economic data suggested stronger growth ahead. The benchmark index ASX 200 opened 32.90 points or 0.4% higher during the early opening trades. And shares fell in the previous session as investors booked profits on several stocks. Ampol, Bendigo and Adelaide Bank, as well as Bravura Solutions, are a few shares going ex-dividend today. The ongoing concerns over the state of US economy eased, with layoffs hitting their lowest levels in over 24 years. However, the unemployment report shows a slowdown in non-farm payrolls growth. And on Wall Street, the Dow Jones rose 0.37%, the S&P 500 added 0.28%, and the Nasdaq Composite advanced 0.14%. Moving on now to the next leg of the show, let's have a quick look at some of the prominent ASX stocks under the spotlight during the early trades. First up, we've got Zuckerberg's social networking giant Facebook, which has launched its Facebook Pay service in Australia. Through this, users will be able to pay merchants or friends through their credit cards after linking it with their Facebook account. However, the service is not yet available on WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. Well, the next company on our list is now Technology One. The Australia-based software company is set to acquire UK-based software firm Sentia for a total cash consideration of $16.2 million. The acquisition is part of the company's strategy to increase the competitive position in the UK. Meanwhile, the largest crypto, Bitcoin, has surged in the past, with surged past the $50,000 mark, taking the total market value of cryptos to above the $2.2 trillion US level, according to CoinMarketCap. Other popular coins like Ethereum and Dogecoin are also trading positive for the month. Looking at the bond yields now, and US Treasury yields fell ahead of the government's labour data release today. Experts say that data could break yields out of a tight range. While the benchmark 10-year yields slipped 1.3 basis points to just below 1.3%. Meanwhile, in the currency space, the dollar weakened on Thursday following strong labour market data. The dollar index fell 0.29% to 92.221. Moving on now, and crude oil prices surged to over $1 per barrel on Thursday due to a rebound in optimism about global economic growth despite the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and higher than anticipated fall in the US crude inventories. Well, Brent crude closed 2% higher at $73.03 US a barrel, while WTI crude oil finished 2% higher at $69.99 US a barrel. Energy stocks like Woodside Petroleum were in the green during the early trades, whereas Santos edged higher during the early trades as well today. Looking at the futures and commodities space, gold prices fell yesterday as investors ignored a weak dollar and squared positions with a focus still on today's non-farm payrolls data. The numbers are expected to determine the US Federal Reserve's tapering strategy as well. And meanwhile, spot gold fell 0.2%, while US futures settled down a bit lower at 0.3%. Leading ASX-listed gold stocks like Northern Star Resources were seen trading in the red during the early trades, just as Newcrest Mining was also spotted trading lower during the opening trades today. And onto the metal space now, and Chinese coking coal futures climbed 8% to hit an all-time high. Meanwhile, the benchmark iron ore futures edged 0.6% lower to 774 yuan per ton at close. Aluminium prices were driven to a 10-year high on Thursday over growing concern that restrictions on production of the metal in China are squeezing supply. Benchmark aluminium on the London Metal Exchange was up 0.1% to just over 2,692 US a ton. Benchmark LME copper was up as well 0.5%, while zinc rose 0.1% and nickel added 0.4% as well. Lead, meanwhile, gained a very solid 1.4%, whereas tin was down 0.2%. Well, that's about all for now in the early morning trades. Holly Shields signing off.